Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
This is America's Outdoor Talk program.
Are you ready to get rowdy?
Outdoors This Week with your host, Alex Langer. Alex Langer. We've got fishing.
Believe me, folks, I have been there, and the fishing has been tremendous.
Hiking.
Adios. Have a nice trip.
Camping.
This is a real adventure.
How do you know?
When you're an experienced woodsman like me, you get a feel for these things.
Oh, really?
Heck, we've even got kayaking.
I'm going to show you kids the time of your life.
We've got all the info you need for a safe and fun day in the sun.
It's a darn good thing we found you when we did. There's something horrible roaming these woods.
And you've got Outdoors This Week. Outdoors This Week. And now, here's your host, Alex Langer.
Why, that would be me, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to the program. 1,000 welcomes, as they used to say on the Johnny Carson show. Did they ever say that on the Johnny Carson?
I don't. I used to watch it a lot, but I don't remember.
I think Karnak used to say that. I'm not Karnak, but I pretend to be on the radio. Listen, we have a wonderful show. We have a couple of very exciting guests with us on today's show. We have John Cruz, who is the Bassmaster Elite Series angler. Well, that means he's really one of the top 100 anglers in the country. He's had 15 top 10 finishes, 2 third-place finishes, and 1 first-place finish in 2010. We're going to talk to him about all those things. And he's won over $750,000, and he's only 34 years old, which is great for today's younger anglers. You know, I mean, I'm an old fart, so to me, 34 is still very, very young. You know, 34 might as well be 24 for me. So John Cruz is from Salem, Virginia, and pretty soon after he was old enough to walk, he found out that he loved to fish. His dad built a 6-acre pond on their property, but he really only got a kick out of the bass, and they stocked it with small ones, and it was a great place to learn new lures and new techniques. And so he was hooked. John continued to fish as an amateur through high school and into his first year of college in 2000. Upon graduating from college, his dad helped him get a Ranger 520 so he could compete with the big guys on the big waters. And that's it. And then we have Jared Pease. Jared has hosted the show before from the Bassmaster Classic in 2005. And he used to run a website called thebassholes.com. He sold thebassholes.com back in July. You know, and I'm pretty glad because I'll never have to say thebassholes.com anymore. I'm not even sure it's legal to say it on the radio. As long as you approve, that's what I'll hang my hat.
It's Lynn approved.
It's Lynn. That's what I'll tell the FCC when they come knocking, which I think they might any minute.
I think they're here.
All right.
We better go.
All right. There's a knock on the door. I got to go. All right. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
More of America's favorite outdoor talk program, Outdoors This Week, after these messages.
Hi, folks. Ron Linder here for Linder's Angling Edge Television. Right now, you can probably see us on WFN. All right, what's happening? Well, this weekend, we had the big tournament on Lake Lanier. This is the FLW tournament. This is their super tournament. And it won't be announced until Sunday, the finals. On the other hand, one thing we do know about the lake is she is down. I mean, you've had this hot weather. And not only is Lake Lanier, where they're having a tournament, down many feet, changing the whole way that thing was fished, but that's neither here nor there. That's another story. It seems that thousands of fish die as Midwest streams are steam up all over the place. They're losing about 40,000 shovel-nosed sturgeon were killed in Iowa last week as water temperatures hit 97 degrees, almost 100. Also, Nebraska fishermen say they've seen thousands of dead sturgeon, catfish, carp, and other species in the lower Platte. That's another shallow, warm river in our heartland. So many fish died in one Illinois lake that the carcasses clogged the intake screen near a power plant. This is a lake that's kept naturally warmer. It's a cooling lake, and you probably got temperatures that are off the charts. One guy over here with the the Iowa Department of Natural Resources says it's something I've never seen in my entire career of 20 years, said Mark Flaminger. The fish are victims of one of the driest, warmest summers in our history. All over. I've never seen nothing like, and I'm talking 45, 50 years I've been on travel. This is the warmest, hottest I have ever seen it. The federal U.S. drought monitor shows nearly 2/3 of the lower 48 states are experiencing some sort of drought. Naturally, it goes into the rivers and the reservoirs and the lakes that we fish. There's another, Gavin Gibbons, the spokesman for the National Fisheries Institute, says the sturgeon kill doesn't appear to have reduced the supply enough to hurt regional caviar suppliers. For that. I'm not getting all excited about that. Anyway, there's another fellow, another biologist, he says we're talking hundreds of thousands of killed fish. He says maybe millions if you count the chubs and minnows and all the other stuff. It's millions if you look statewide. And Stephenson, Gary Stephenson said fish kills happen the most in small private ponds and streams, but the hot water this year has made the situation much worse. So we've seen it in Kansas. Kansas has really seen some declining water levels, like we had Texas. Well, and actually Lake Lanier, which is in Georgia, where they're having this tournament, the lake levels 2 years ago were really low, and they're low this year. They're not the dangerous low levels that they were, but many of these guys that used to fish docks, to go along, they can't fish the docks. The docks are on dry land. There's maybe 10 feet from the edge of the water before they even get up to the dock that's sticking out. That's part of the heat wave that we're experiencing. One large carp, now up here in the Dakotas, one large batch of carp at Lewis and Clark Lake in the Dakotas up here in South Dakota. This is one of my favorite smallmouth lakes, by the way. They had lesions. Now, fish get lesions when they start suffering a bacterial infection. That comes from extremely hot water. And anyway, by the by, I just hope that it's going to cool off. It's going to change things. Now, we're seeing some northern pike here. I'm seeing a lot of tulipy, which need cool water, but we're also starting to see some pike, which they could take some warm water, but the bigger pike, they need cold water. They're really a cool water fish, not a cold water fish, they're cool water fish. And after a while, when I start seeing pike floating up here, and I was fishing a tournament last weekend, and when we see pike floating out there, that's not a good sign. And I saw a couple of pike floating along with the tulipies. We have this normal summer kill that happens on a regular basis. But these are generally tulipi, which is a bait fish, which hang in that deep water. They just hang there. They don't want to leave that cool water, and when they lose the oxygen there, the fish die and they float up. But we're seeing pike, and that's a little different. Well, anyway, that's the report for now. We need a little cool weather, and next week, or maybe somebody else is going to give you a report on the FLW. That's the big tournament that they're having out on Lake Lanier, and somebody is going to be made a gigantic hero. His career is going to be made as well as putting $500,000 or $600,000 in his pocket. That's always nice, especially if you're young. Young Scott Martin, the son of Roland Martin, the famous fisherman, my buddy. He won last year. Early reports on the first day is he was doing well, and I'm not going to spill any beans here. Well, that's it for now. See you later, folks.
Outdoor photo tip coming up on Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World.
Would you like to spend less time on the couch and more time in the fresh air? Would you like your kids to stare at a bobber instead of the TV? Would you gladly trade in your microwave for a Dutch oven? Then you belong at Bass Pro Shops. Every week, we offer free skills workshops to help you get started. See the store or go to BassPro.com for more information. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Good photos almost always feature a clear subject. Someone looking at the image should be able to immediately figure out what it's a picture of. As you set up your shot, determine what element is going to be the main subject. That's easy if you're photographing a person, group, or animal, but more challenging when you're taking pictures of a forest or some other outdoor scene that lacks an obvious subject. In this situation, look closely at the scene. Is there something that catches your attention? An interesting rock, tree, or cloud, a stream, mountain summit, or waterfall. If nothing jumps out at you, walk around till you find something that does. Keep in mind that the subject must be large enough within the image to not be overshadowed by its surroundings. That moose 100 yards away might be exciting now, but won't be later if it only appears as a distant black smudge in your photo. Whether you're taking pictures, fishing, camping, hiking, or hunting, just get out and enjoy our great outdoors. I'm Larry Whiteley, and this is Bass Pro Shop's Outdoor World.
Thank you, Larry. And we have a special guest with us today for this show. His name is John Cruz. He's from Salem, Virginia, and he wanted to fish as soon as he was old enough to walk. As he got older, his father built a 6-acre pond on their land, and he fished it, but he really got a kick out of the bass. It was stocked with small ones, but it was a great place to learn new lures and try new techniques. After that, he went on to fish the BASS Elite Series Tour, where he's had 1 first-place finish, 2 third-place finishes, and 15 top 10s. And without any further ado, here he is, John Cruz. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on. Tell us about your experience on the Elite Series since the year 2000.
Oh, it's been quite an adventure, to be honest with you. It is quite a grind. As much. I don't know if most people understand what how competitive it is on that elite level. I would say at any given week, there's out of the 100 guys, there is a pretty high likelihood that 80 to 90 of them could win at any week. If they just happen to get on the right fish or whatever. That's how good they are, and so it's very competitive, and that's really what I love about it.
You fished the FLW also. What were the years like fishing the FLW?
I loved it. I like fishing the FLW and bass both. They both have their they're just a little different approaches to tournaments. The FLW competition has gotten better and better every year, and that there's some serious sticks over there as well. That's just a testament to professional fishing, being a viable sport and getting more and more of the best anglers from around the country on each of the trails.
You've roomed with Mike Iaconelli and Ish Monroe, both of whom we've had on the show. And Mike has been a friend of the program, and Ish not so much. What was that like? What do Mike and Ish really like in person?
The three of us have a very interesting bond. We all room together. If we have a house that we can rent, at the tournament sites, we'll rent a house, and all three of us can stay there. We spend a lot of time on the road together. They're kind of my brothers. They're my family, if you will, on the road. And, we have the three of us have a real high trust level between us. And we share a lot of information, and that's not 100% common when you're, with all the guys on tour. Some of the guys have their little groups that they trust and work with. And,
right.
And we have a good thing going. We all have our strengths. And we understand each other and each other's strengths, and I think it just complements each other well. We help each other out quite a bit. There's been a number of tournaments where, something that Ish told me in practice that he was catching a few fish on, yep. Whatever I was catching them on just kind of petered out or quit wasn't working, and I'm going to pick up that bait or try that technique, and sure enough, it's able to put a few fish in the boat, and it definitely works. It works back and forth between the three of us.
You guys are the Three Musketeers, huh?
Oh yeah. We have a good time. I'm not gonna lie. We have a lot of laughing, a lot of good times, and it makes it enjoyable to go to an Elite Series event, knowing you're gonna you get to room with a couple of your best friends and get to take part in some of the best bass fishing competition there is.
Well, you're right. Mike and Ish both have a wonderful sense of humor, and to be in a room with them has got to be great.
Yeah.
You won the Duel of the Delta in 2010. What techniques did you use?
I won that tournament flipping and pitching deep hydrilla, and it was kind of interesting. I was doing an interview on the way out to that tournament, and somebody said, "What's your biggest weakness?" Well, I don't know. I just have to say, flipping and pitching matted vegetation, because I don't have that many top tens doing it, and so that's the only thing. I really am comfortable doing a lot of different techniques, as are most of the elite guys. But it was kind of interesting that very next tournament I won it, doing what I said my weakness was. So I thought that was kind of funny.
So your weakness really turned out not to be your weakness so much.
No. I think it just goes to show the versatility of an Elite Series type angler. I mean,
we got a break for a commercial, and
sure.
Would you come back again?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back with John Cruz.
Hang tight. More of America's Outdoor Talk program, Outdoors This Week, after this.
Wow! Hold on to that, and that's a good one since 1984. Tight Lines with Sammy Lee.
He's the greatest bass angler of all time, and today he'll help you catch more fish. Hello, this is Sammy Lee. In just a moment, Rick Clun will talk about the correct mental attitude to have after a cold front passes through. But first, this message.
A football player's mouthguard that could signal when he's about to have a heat stroke?
It's no fantasy.
It's the science of SpectraBurst, an extraordinary new plastic colorant that changes color according to temperature. SpectraBurst color technology can also be used in fishing lures, textiles, and paint. The possibilities are endless. Non-toxic, non-flammable,
and it really works.
SpectraBurst color technology, only from SpectraBurst Industries. Learn more online at SpectraBurst.com.
According to the man who's won 4 Bassmaster Classics, over $4 million in prize money during his professional bass tournament career, and was voted as the greatest bass angler of all time, Rick Clun, having the right mental attitude after a cold front passes through can catch more fish for you.
I usually try to pick whenever I know I'm going to get a real severe situation weather-wise, like a cold front. I'm not going to run like I would under good conditions, because I'm not trying to get a bunch of strikes. I'm only trying to get 5, so I'll pick my best area, and I become very thorough and very precise. And presentation is the whole key. To me, a cold front, all it does is shrink the strike zone of the fish. So all it means is if he's got a stump here, and the fish on the day before the cold front run out there 3 and 4 foot to hit a lure, now he's not going to move at all. He's going to be under it. So all those casts, when you come back there the next day, won't do any good, because you're still hitting a foot away, even a foot away or 2 foot away. He's not going to move to hit it like he did the day before. So now you've got to move in and drop it on his nose. And this is why flipping is such a tremendous technique under those circumstances. So that's basically you do. You just become a lot more precise with your presentation. The fish is either going to, in a cold front situation, he's either going to drop deep or he's going to move into the thickest cover in the area. Mm-hmm. It's one of 2 things. The thing you've got to remember, even when you do the right thing, you're still not going to have what you think is success necessarily. But when you come in at the weigh-in, if you did the right thing, relatively you will have had success. And that's what's hard for people to make adjustment to.
And I agree, Rick Clun, and well said. I'd like to thank legendary bass angler Rick Clun for stopping by this week, and I hope that you've learned something from him. I know I certainly have. I'm Sammy Lee, and until next time, Tight Lines.
Tight Lines, brought to you by SpectraBurst, the ultimate color-changing technology. HuntMate, the best hunting app for your iPhone. By UFP, America's leading maker of brake systems for boat trailers. And by Bleeding Belly's Lures, the bait that actually changes color.
Thanks a lot, Sammy, and we always have Sammy every week. My guest for this next segment is John Cruz, and John is only 34 years old, but he's already won $752,000, $772,000 to be exact, on the Bassmaster Elite Tour, and he's got 1 first-place finish, 2 third-place finishes, and 15 top 10 finishes. And we were just in the middle of a conversation with John when we rudely interrupted him. John, what were you telling me before I so rudely interrupted you?
Oh, no, we were just, I was just talking about the versatility of the, Brent Chapman won that Elite Series event this year at Toledo Bend, and he does not claim to be a good deepwater fisherman, but knew that tournament would be won that way, so he adapted.
Right.
And ended up getting on the right fish to win that tournament, and that's pretty amazing.
You can't really have any weaknesses as an Elite Series fisherman, can you?
Not any gaping. You have to be able to adapt enough. If a tournament's going to be won, on a technique that you're not very good with, you need to at least have some kind of confidence in either that technique or something very similar to where you're able to make a top 20 or top 10 if you have to in that tournament.
Okay. You have a new business called Missile Baits. I've seen it a lot on all the websites that matter. So tell us about it. What in the world are Missile Baits?
Missile Baits is the name is it's a company that I started in January, and the name is a play on my nickname. A lot of one of my friends that I used to fish team tournaments with, he always used to call me the cruise missile. And so, years and years ago when I got my first email address, I was cruise missile at whatever. And so that's kind of how it's kind of stuck with me. And I just kind of played on that. Didn't want to have anything named after my personal name. I wanted it to be more of a brand and not on a person. So that's why I named it Missile Baits. I think it's kind of catchy. We have fun with it, with the bait names like the D-Bomb and the Tomahawk and the Twin Turbo and things like that.
Are they soft baits or is it a full line of baits?
Soft plastics. We're specializing in soft plastic baits, and but we're gonna expand into some terminal tackle type items, the jigs and so forth next year, and of course coming out with more soft plastics as well. So things seem to be going real well for us. Sales are going good, and guys are catching a lot of fish on the bait.
You're promoting them through a lot of the pro website like bassfan.com and others. Has that worked for you?
It has. The age that we're living in is the information age, and the internet and smartphones and the iPhone 5 just came out, and all these kind of things that people have technology right at their fingertips. And I think that's the place that, if you're going to spend money, that's the place to start. You can't get away from radio and print ads, if you're a company. But when you don't have a certain amount of dollars to spend, the digital stuff really seemed to work well for us this year.
All right, John, we're out of time. Where can people find out more about you?
We have missilebaits.com. We have a full website and have a whole list of retailers that sell it, and we also sell it on our website. And for more about myself and my tournament career, I have johncruise.com, and you can link over to Missile Baits from there as well, and any other my sponsors. So you can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. So that's what we do.
All right, John. Thanks for joining us, and good luck on the tour.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, and you can come back anytime. All right.
All right. That sounds great. I appreciate it.
All right. John Cruz, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably heard of Jared Pease before because he has been the guest host on this very program since 2005, Lynn, since the Bassmaster Classic in 2005 that they had in Pittsburgh. And he's with us today. Jared, welcome.
Hey, Alex. Thank you very much. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Alex.
We know you from your popular bass fishing website, bassholds.com, and you sold it back in July. What happened?
Yes, well, the Bass Holes was it was like my child, basically, and I started it in 2006. And, I guess I could say it ran its course. I really loved it, and I still do love it. But, I have other things I want to do. I want to get more into writing and more into video production and all that. And the forums really wouldn't allow that.
Right.
So I found a good company that, promised to keep it up running and has really great servers and a good team of IT professionals to keep it going. And we discussed it, and in July 20th, they took ownership of it.
It's thebassholes.com, right?
That's right, thebassholes.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back with Jared, all right? So, folks, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't change that dial. Alex will be right back with more of Outdoors This Week after these messages.
Well, I got me a bass boat equipped to the max. Gel coat sparkle, she's my waterproof Caroline. Should see her out on the flats. I got high-tech equipment, rods and reels and lines. A brand new pickup that I bought from a friend of mine that I financed online.
Gerald Swindle is co-host of Moultrie's Hit List TV show on the Outdoor Channel. This show focuses on 4 hunters who use trail cameras to locate specific deer in their habitat, and the show follows the hunters as they pursue these animals. I'm Wade Bourne, and this is Wired to Hunt Radio. Today, Gerald Swindle talks about the evolution of modern TV hunting shows.
More Wired to Hunt Radio coming up.
For a day at the range, it's hard to beat an accurate pistol and lots of .22 long rifle ammunition. Folks at Smith & Wesson couldn't agree more. And the new M&P 22 pistol fits the bill perfectly. The M&P 22 combines the look, feel, and familiar operating features of the trusted M&P series of centerfire pistols. The M&P 22 is perfect for training or simple shooting enjoyment. To learn more about this new M&P rimfire pistol, visit www.smith-wesson.com.
Planning to head outdoors today? The National Shooting Sports Foundation reminds you to check the fire danger levels in your area. Whether target shooting, camping, or even parking a car with a hot exhaust, remember to take precautions. If you're going shooting in dry conditions, minimize the possible risk of fire by not using steel-jacketed or steel core ammunition, tracer rounds, or exploding targets. As we know, wildfires have many possible causes. Don't be one of them.
This is Wired to Hunt Radio.
Gerald Swindle is a regular guy, and he likes to show regular hunts on his TV show, The Hit List. Gerald told me he grew up hunting on public land using simple woodsman skills. Now he believes many hunters are taking too many shortcuts, and he'd like to lead them back to the basics.
I would like to know more and learn more and teach more of the average, not survival skills, but day-to-day wood skills that seem to be missing in hunting shows now. What we see more now is high fence, high-dollar ranches. You see very few father and son camping on public ground, and that's how I grew up. And it's a huge, I think it's lost. That whole concept of spending time outdoors is lost. It's all about the kill. Let's go somewhere and buy a 170-inch deer. And that's not me. I would love to see eventually having a show where I do a lot of public ground walk-in hunts, where I live out of a tent, document the hunt and the expense-wise of it, and show you that hunting that way is just as fun as killing a giant, and putting the ego aside of having to kill a big one. I'm just as happy to kill a 6-pointer as I am to kill a 160-incher. I want to kill them. So a lot of that I see coming back, the ideas that I want to bring back into bow hunting and the realistic side of it, and not being so far-fetched that people can't believe it.
That's Gerald Swindle, and watch for him on The Hit List Tuesday nights at 8 Eastern on the Outdoor Channel. And that's today's Wired to Hunt Radio. I'm Wade Bourne saying thanks for listening. Get outside.
Thanks, Wade, and I'll be sure to put Gerald on my hit list, and also you. We have Jared Pease with us today. Jared, as you may remember, was the proprietor of the bassholes.com website. It was a popular website, but he sold it in July. Tell me, Jared, what are you doing with your time since then?
Well, other than my relocation from South Carolina to New York, I've got a new project in the works. It's going to be more of an online magazine with illustrations and articles and a lot of blogs and very focused on video. And that's going to be called the Caster's Chronicle. It's not up yet, but it's in the works. And in between getting myself situated in my new home and all that, I'm working on getting it to go live, hopefully within the next month or so. So people will be able to tune into thecasterschronicle.com and see your video. Is it a video blog? No, it's going to be a regular, normal blog, but there'll be a lot of video, a lot of illustrations, a lot of surprises. That I had a lot of ideas for the bassholes.com, but the forums really consumed everything. Running the forums is quite a large endeavor. It's a lot larger than I thought it would be. So it took up a lot of my time. So a lot of ideas that I could not bring to the Bass Holes, I'll be bringing to the Caster's Chronicle. Being a moderator on the blogs it's a full-time job 24/7, which means it's really 3 full-time jobs. Exactly. I mean, I loved every minute of it, but, it really left a little time to do much else. Like, I barely fished because I was spending so much time keeping the website running. Are you moving to the city? No, I'm about an hour north of the city in Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie, yep. I'm right on the Hudson River. The thing that I like most is I'm about 3 hours from Lake Champlain. Really? And about an hour from Candlewood Lake in Danbury, Connecticut. So I plan on spending a lot of time on Candlewood and on the Hudson and anywhere else I can sneak into the lake. The real thing I'm really looking forward to is that I have no more alligators chasing out of the water, so I can get back to wading. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right. There's not many alligators in New York.
I don't believe so. Maybe the sewers, from what I hear, but I'm not going to be fishing there.
You're originally from the Danbury area, right, in Connecticut?
That's correct, yes. Danbury, Bethel, Newtown.
Right. So you were down in South Carolina for a while. How did you find the fishing down there, besides the alligators?
Well, the fishing down there it's pretty good. I hate to say it, but the South Carolina fisheries is really lacking compared to other places that I fished across the country, especially compared to the Northeast fishery management.
Yeah.
They just recently changed South Carolina limits from 10 to 5.
Really?
And though that limit's in place, I've seen many times where the DNR down there don't really pay much attention, and you see people coming out of there with coolers full of bass.
Right.
It's really sad because great fisheries like Santa Cooper once were like legendary, and now people leave that place cursing under their breath because they got 4 bites all weekend long. The pros go there when the fish are on the beds and they're easy to see and they can catch them and makes them look really good. But I always said I'd like to get them out there in August when the fish are really hunkered down and and there's 130,000 acres of possibilities.
Right.
Then it's really hard to catch a fish on that place.
Roland Martin started as a guide on Santee Cooper,
Right.
So it's become really tough, huh?
Yeah. It used to be full of hydrilla and milfoil, and there was a lot of grass, and the grass protected the bait fish, and protected the baby fry, the bass fry, and the bass were just, they were everywhere. When I came down in '94, you could go there and you could catch, a dozen 4-pounders. It was no problem, pretty much anywhere you went.
Yeah.
And then they killed the grass. The grass is all gone. They put in these called triploid carp, which are carp that don't reproduce, to keep the grass down. And so now the herring and the shad and all that, they're basically just fed on by everything in the lake. And it's changed the game a real lot. I mean, you can still catch really good fish there, if you really know what you're doing. But overall, the fishing's gone down a real lot.
I was talking to somebody on a previous show, and they were an Elite Series angler, and they told me that they would by far prefer their own home fishing in Wisconsin, and I would have to agree. I mean, I think New England and New York have a better quality average fish than anywhere in the South. That's not common wisdom, but I think it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I think one thing that helps a lot of the states up here is that they really take care of the fisheries. I mean, like down south, they would never want to hear of a bass season, but up here, if you take a fish out of the water during spawning season,
right,
you're in a lot of trouble. Down there, they take them. I mean, you take a fish off of a 10-pound fish full of eggs, or has already laid its eggs and it's on its bed. They take them off. They travel them 10 miles up the lake, and
we got to end the show right here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But would you come back again?
Oh, you bet. I love it, Alex.
All right. And New York, I think the bass season opens in June, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I have to learn all these new rules.
Jared, thanks a lot. And folks, thanks for being with us. That's another Outdoors This Week done. We'll say bye-bye until next time. All right? See you later.
Alex Langer, Outdoors This Week.